Let's send it down to Brendan Parker and Cory Sarich for tonight's Flames TV postgame show, presented by Original 16.
It's presented by Original 16. The Calgary Flames and Toronto Maple Leafs meeting here for the first of two times this season, and this one goes to the visitors. 6-3 the final here tonight. Brendan Parker alongside Cory Sarich to break things down for you this evening. And what started as a very odd first period ends up in a more lopsided victory for the Toronto Maple Leafs. We knew all along that this team was capable of some high offensive nights, and they kind of showed that as this night wore on. What did you see here as we end up with a 6-3 final?
Well, like you said, it was a little bit of an awkward start. There was a couple of disallowed goals. First, it was the Leafs with a high stick, and then you had the Calgary Flames with a goaltender interference, which I'm sure we'll see both of those. But it just, that first period had absolutely no flow, no rhythm to it. It's probably not the start that the Flames wanted tonight. It wasn't as good as it has been or as consistent as it has been. The Leafs came out with a little bit more jump tonight, and the puck was having a little more puck luck, the Leafs. And then again, just the whole night, everything felt just a little disjointed out there. There was, you get the second period that had a whole pile of power play goals. It was a very unusual evening. Just kind of each period was its own separate little game tonight. Yeah,
and when let's take a look at the goals and obviously how it all goes down tonight. But the power play and the way that it featured so prominently for both teams. We know that when you get a lot of special teams, there's a lot of guys that aren't engaged or aren't able to get into this hockey game. And here's an example of how it starts: a 5-on-3, which the Flames power play has been red hot as of late, and the 5-on-3 goal from Matt Coronado here is 14th.
Yeah, and we see him shooting Chris Tanev, who else would be in front of a couple of blocks on this power play. And we see the one block from Tanev, good on Coronado to stick with it, but Tanev had blocked a one-timer from Coronado even earlier in that sequence that we didn't see. So the pesky former Flame, was rearing his ugly head out there. But good to see Matt Coronado here continue his streak of offense lately, and he's been a real bright spot, and I was saying one of the most consistent Flames so far this season.
Yeah, and he has kept the hot stick going, and for the Flames, it was a 1-0 lead after one, but here's the second period and where things started to stack up, especially with all the power plays. And the first one for the Leafs comes courtesy William Nylander, who scores his 31st on a rocket.
Yeah, and he knows how to shoot from that spot. He had a shot earlier on Wolf. It wasn't a one-timer, and Wolf did a really nice job of taking away the high part of the net. And again, this is a great pass. It's a great release by Nylander, and generally Wolf, more often than not this year, he's been across on those passes, getting pieces of them. But again, Nylander, he's got a pretty special release, and he's one of the premier scorers in this league, and he just gets it away early enough to sneak it by Wolf.
Nice play by Nyes to get that through the middle and out to Nylander in a hurry. Here's the second power play goal, and this one right off the face-off. And it is John Tavares that ends up scoring. It had one taken away earlier. This one would.
I watched him do a little drill in practice or in the pregame skate earlier this morning, and he received about 15 to 20 passes on his backhand. I didn't know he was going to take a backhand tonight and score a goal like that, but that was well placed off the post. And to go from your forehand to your backhand that quickly and know exactly where you're shooting it, it's not an easy read for the goaltender, and that's a goal scorer's goal.
Yeah, beautiful touch in the slot there. 21 on the year for Tavares, but once again, the Flames get their second 5-on-3 of the game, and they've been red hot on that situation as well. That's 3 goals on the 5-on-3 in their last 2 games, and Weegar takes the shot.
Yeah, and at first look, you think that Mackenzie Weegar gets this one. I think Sharon Govas gets a little piece of it in the end. They credit him with the goal. There was great movement on both these 5-on-3s. If you're looking at a 5-on-3 and it's going to have success, it's got to get tight. You have to force the penalty killers down low, and they did that. And Mackenzie with a really nice step back one-timer. Again, Sharon Govich taking away the eyes of the goalie, and it was a big goal at that time. It's a 2-2 hockey game.
Yeah, and it feels like that. This game is very much up in the air. The power play time at this point was pretty even, but this is where it starts to turn in the back half of that second period. A couple odd man rushes. Starts with Bobby McMahon keeping, shooting, and scoring.
Yeah, and he had an earlier burst of speed in the first period where he pulled away from a Flame defender and had a chance. On this one, he's making no mistake. He's shooting that puck all the way. That's a really nice shot, but this was kind of where the game started to turn for the Calgary Flames. They were pushing a little too hard on offense there, and with a team like the Leafs, they're very opportunistic, and they get away and they score one on them.
So that makes it a 3-2 hockey game, and then the odd man rushes continue. And William Nylander out of the middle takes it out, and kind of the same finish in terms of keeping on the odd man rush, and scores a second.
Yeah, and another very eerily similar play where the Flames get caught with 4 deep. There's a point shot that doesn't find the net, and it's the Leafs off to the races. And this is where their game thrives. And the Flames, I got to give them credit. They haven't given up opportunities like this. They've been super stingy at home. But again, against a great team like this, you can't take a shift off. And Leafs sneak away with 2 opportunities, and they come away with 2 goals.
So 4-2 the score there, and the Leafs would add to their lead here as well. And it comes courtesy. Well, Austin Matthews starts it. This is kind of an odd sequence, though, too. Makes a spectacular save, does Dustin Wolf, and then Matthew Nyes is there to clean it up. But outnumbered are the Leafs to the Flames defenders again on this sequence.
Yeah, and it's a turnover by the Flames. We thought maybe the Flames could challenge here as well. Wolf makes that initial save. Domi's stick gets hooked in there and peels him out of the net. But I don't know if it's continuation or what you're going to call that, but there's no challenge from the Calgary Flames. And that goal stands.
Well, and they certainly looked at it. You could see both Huska, Cale McLean taking a look, and obviously talking to their video coach, Jamie Pringle, and inevitably decided not to.
Yeah, and if Jamie's not making the call, then he's been wrong, or sorry, right almost every time this year. So I'd trust his judgment.
Does a lot of work in that area of what generally counts and what doesn't. They chose not to, but the Flames very quickly thereafter do get one back, and Joel Farabee has his first. Thought he had one earlier in the game too, and Farabee gets his first as a Flame.
Yeah, he was the one in the first period who had his goal called back, and nice to see him. Little traffic in front. He's known to go to these areas, and it's a shot from Huberdeau, and he just gets a little touch on it there at the end, and that's his first, and pulls him within 2.
So the Flames did mount, I would say, a little bit of a pushback, but the Leafs held their fort pretty firm throughout the rest of the third period, and then seal it with William Nylander, a little strip. And a little score into the empty net. His 33rd of the season. He gets the hat trick. The hats fly down, and Toronto ends up getting the win. 6-3 the final here tonight. Let's go inside the room. Let's get some reaction following the loss and hear from the captain first up. Here's Michael Backlund postgame.
Gave them that, especially there in the second. Power play goals, off the rush, odd man rush goals again. So the game got away from us in the second.
But you feel like you were so exposed off the rush tonight?
It's a tough question, but yeah, times we didn't make the right reads, and they're a very skilled team that make you pay quickly. They're very good transitioning from defense to offense, and we knew that going in. And there's a few times we didn't make the right read, and cost us some chances against and then some goals against.
It seemed like there was some heightened emotions out there tonight because of the crowd and everything. The atmosphere really stirs it up and gets this rivalry going. Yeah,
no, it's always a fun game to play. Like you said, both sides of fans are into it, and we don't see each other that often, so it's always fun to play against them, and usually some tight games. And yeah, like I said, fortunately got away from us in the second.
With the penalty kill, like we know there's been a ton of work going into it, but it still just doesn't seem to be clicking. Is that growing frustrating?
Yeah, frustrating that they scored 2 quick ones there, back-to-back power plays. That's really frustrating. I thought we did a good job bouncing back, killing some off after that. But yeah, no, it's definitely frustrating when we get up to 2. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Max.
All right, there's the captain, Michael Backlund, following the loss 6-3 here. The Leafs end up winning it. And, maybe before we dive back into the locker room here, some more reaction. Let's talk about those 2 no goals, because we talked about sort of that disjointed start in the first period that seemed to lack a little bit of that rhythm and flow. But maybe part of it is because of a couple of substantial and lengthy reviews that both end up getting overturned. What did you see on, I guess maybe just the first one pretty much self-explanatory because it's a high stick. We'll get to the goal. Tender interference as well, but just how that can kind of affect a game early on when you're sitting around waiting and inevitably have 2 goals come off the board.
Yeah, and it can. I mean, there's a lot of time spent just standing around. I thought with the first one, though, it might be a nice reset for the Calgary Flames because it was the one that Tavares thought he had, and it goes in the Flames' favor. So I thought that might be a little bit of a kick in the butt for them. Again, it wasn't their best start, and they were down. They were being outshot, I think, about 5-1 at the point. So I thought, hey, this is where to go. The second one, a little quicker review. I think they definitely got them both right. But again, like you said, there's just so much standing around. You got to get it right, though, so you understand, and you need multiple angles, especially on that first one. The puck is above Dustin Wolf's head. Thought we might get to take a look at them. But again, just a disjointed first, and second period was all power plays again, the scoring. And then the third period had a little more flow. But, yeah, just a oddly disjointed game.
For sure. Let's go back inside the room. Let's hear from Mackenzie Weegar. I thought he had a goal here tonight as well. That one ends up going to Yegor Sharangovich on the slight redirect in front, but he does finish with a pair of assists. Here's Mackenzie Weegar now.
What did you, I guess, see as the difference tonight?
Obviously the PK in the second period, and then, 2 turnovers, and, their skill took over. 2 2-on-1s, and they capitalized on a couple of our mistakes there. So that second period I thought was sort of where the game kind of tilted the other way.
Do you feel like the defensemen were maybe caught tonight just with a few bad pinches or poor reads, Mackenzie?
I'd have to take a look and kind of review the game. I'm not exactly sure, but the game maybe connected all 5 guys. I wouldn't say just the D, but maybe all 5 guys connected, maybe got a little loose throughout the game. Definitely felt like that a little bit. It felt like at any moment there could be a 3-on-2 or or 2-on-1 at some point. So I definitely in the second period at least. And the first period it was kind of back and forth. We obviously got a 5-on-3, but we knew they work hard. They got good sticks, and they like to get under your stick and take it away and get back to the net. And we wouldn't say we were necessarily ready for that part either. So.
What's been the key for this group? Like that feeling you talked about that, it feels like there could be a 3-on-2 either way.
Yeah.
What's been key for your group to sort of rein that in when it starts to feel that way?
Just stay composed, stay to our identity. When they get loose like that or they want to play that run and gun game, we have to stick to our identity. Our identity is to stay on top of guys, be a good check, defend the right way. I thought we didn't really stay composed at that time. We kind of wanted to do a little too much and, force a few plays that I don't think were there at that time. So our identities, grind it out, forecheck hard, reload hard, move the puck back up to the fours, get it back in. Our game's simple and hard.
What's going right on the 5-on-3s for you guys? I believe you've had some success there the last 2 games.
Yeah, I think just moving the puck fast, seeing the open lane and taking the shot. A little bit of deception at times, a little more movement, but that's probably the positive part to take away from this game.
Mackenzie, you see some emotion on the bench tonight, some frustration. Does that speak to you guys are right in the thick of the race this late in the season? Is that partly why? For sure,
it's competitive guys that we got on our team. We want to win every single night. We want to make the right plays every night, guys. They not necessarily want to go at each other, but there's that competitive, intense times in the game where guys are fiery and hold each other accountable at times, or they're pissed at themselves, and but then there's guys that pick each other up and in situations like that. But we're a competitive group. We want to win. We're fighting for a playoff spot here, and you can kind of sense it tonight.
You mentioned sort of the group getting away from its game, and I don't want to reach and make suggestions of why that was, but do you have any sense of why? Yes.
I just don't think we stay composed when it kind of got run and gunny in that second period, and the power plays kind of maybe started that. Obviously they took advantage, and maybe we want to try to do a little too much, and probably that we just didn't stay composed.
Mackenzie, you've been
after an exchange like on the bench between players, is that discussed in the intermission?
Yeah. Absolutely. We love each other in this room. You come back in the room and you talk it out and, have a laugh or, just forget about it. We'll get it back. And it usually doesn't last very long with this group.
Thanks, Weeks.
Sorry, one more. You've been the guy who wants to make a good impression with a new team before. For Frost and Farabee to both have a goal already, what will that kind of do for them moving forward?
Confidence, obviously. Comfortability. They've done a great job coming in and stepping in to a new team, but it's the other guys in the room making them feel as comfortable as they can and keeping that confidence high. So they've done a great job. Thanks.
Excellent stuff there from Mackenzie Weegar, as he so often does, kind of a summation of the night. And, just thought it was interesting that he pointed out, kind of what we talked about, but a team that you don't necessarily want to get into a little back and forth with. And that was one of the things he talked about, most importantly, just about sticking to their identity.
Yeah, and we just were trying to say that the game wasn't all that smooth and it was a little bit disjointed. And like he said, I liked his comment. You get a bunch of power plays and you're kind of going back and forth when you only have special teams on the ice and you haven't had a lot of that 5-on-5, and sometimes you get caught up, you make the wrong decision, you make a wrong read, just because, again, the period for the first 10 minutes was mostly power play penalty kill.
Yeah.
And that can all factor in, so, he kind of hit the nail on the head.
Well said. So Frost scores his first as a Flame Sunday night in Seattle. Joel Farabee thought he scored it in the first period, ends up getting it in the third, but both of them now newcomers have their firsts of their Flames tenure. You just heard Mackenzie talk about what a great job they've done coming in, but just how about the fit for Farabee? It's a new look line with Kadri and Huberdeau.
Yeah, and it looked good tonight. They had a lot of shots going to the net, lots of traffic. They all looked involved tonight. I liked Farabee. I liked some of his work down in the corners. And then again, when you find him around the front of the net, I think that can be a staple for him, especially on that line with Huberdeau and Kadri and the chemistry that they have together. They have always looked to Pospisil to go and get the pucks for them. Farabee, see, he's got a good stick by that example right there.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he felt great to get a goal. His trade mate, Frost, got one last game, and then he goes out and he gets one tonight. And you want to have an instant impact when you've been traded to a new team. You want to show you belong, and this is a big one for him tonight.
For sure, and I think we were just talking to him this morning, and the schedule was crazy. Obviously, coming in from Philly, you play 2 games on consecutive nights, and one at home and then one on the road, and then you get another one here tonight. So, while it feels like you're drinking out of a fire hose right away, he said there is probably a lot of benefits to that too, just being able to kind of sink your teeth right into it and not think too much, just sort of react.
Yeah, it has its pros and cons. The nice thing is you get in and you got to get to know your teammates because you're playing with them. So you are in the rink and you are around each other nonstop.
Yeah. And
you get to travel, you get a little plane ride in there, stay over. And then you've got some big opponents upcoming here. And I think these two, though, will also be ready for a little bit of a breather just to get their lives organized. They're going to need to take those couple weeks and sort out all the little details that happen when you're traded mid-season. So that'll be welcoming for them as well. And again, you heard these two talk about a fresh start. I think truly it's got to feel good for Joel to score a goal tonight. He's probably been a little bit snake bitten to his expectations of what he came off from last year. So that one's got to feel really good.
Yeah, for sure. Let's hear from him, get his reaction. Here's Joel Farabee after his first as a member of the Calgary Flames tonight.
A little bit of an odd one to get the first one disallowed and then to come back. Just how did you feel out there and significance of getting your first goal with the Flames?
Yeah, I mean, I think, obviously winning's way more important, but definitely feels good to get the first one out of the way, even though it, took a couple tries. But, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I'd rather never score and win every game than score and lose. So it's all about just getting a little bit better and, yeah, so, I mean, it feels good, but at the end of the day, winning's more important.
Were you surprised by the verdict on the first one?
Honestly, I haven't really seen it. I saw it quick on the jumbo, so I'm not really sure. I'd have to get back to you on that, but yeah, I don't really know right now.
Seemed like a pretty strange night. A lot of emotion in the building. It seemed like a different game to you, like heightened emotion.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of penalties too, so it's a weird flow when there's a lot of penalties going both sides. So yeah, just kind of a weird game. Special teams. I thought a power play looked good, but it would have been nice to get a couple kills there and keep the momentum going. And yeah, kind of just a weird game altogether.
Okay, thanks, Joel.
Cheers to another season of great times and great taste. Celebrate things done well. Original 16, official beer sponsor of the Calgary Flames. Must be legal drinking age.
All right, welcome back. Flames Postgame Live brought to you by Original 16. Brendan Parker alongside Cory Sarich. It is a 6-3 Toronto Maple Leafs win here on home ice as the Flames kicked off this three-game homestand. Let's get some reaction now from the head coach of the Calgary Flames. Here's Ryan Huska now following tonight's loss.
What did you make of that performance, Ryan?
I thought if you were to sum our game up in a short phrase, I thought we forced offense, and we got ourselves into trouble because of that. So their last 3 goals before the empty netter was all a result of us forcing offense, which is something that we typically don't do. And against a team that's got skilled forwards like they do, you can't play that game.
So 2-2, Tyson Barrie makes the pinch there that leads to the 3-2 goal. In that spot, with the game being what it was, do you want your defenseman making that decision in that moment?
It's not just a D-man. There's other things that go on in that situation, whether it's a forward, how he's trying to make a play or what type of play they're looking for. So that's, I guess, what I'm alluding to, and they're forcing offense that isn't there.
Can you tell us about the thought process on maybe not challenging the Leafs' 5th goal there?
Yeah, Dustin, when he made the original save, he was kind of sliding out of the picture to start with. So that puck went under him while he was sliding the other direction. So he wasn't going to be able to get himself set and make that save again.
Anything similar to that St. Louis play in overtime with that loose puck from a little while ago? There, or?
The one on Vladar?
Yeah.
No, that one was totally different. Yeah.
Like Domi's stick hooks around Wolf's neck and completely takes him out of the play. By then it doesn't matter because he's already out of position.
Well, this is us, what we're thinking from what we've seen again, but the puck was already slid underneath Wolfie back into the crease, and he was still on the move the other way before the contact happened.
In that spot, given goaltender interference is such a wild card, like, was there a thought that, hey, this could work? Like, does that go through your head?
Sure, but there's also a thought, like, we need to be sure of this one because, you still have a chance in a game. Their power play scored 2 goals tonight, so you do think of those things as well.
What did you make of Dustin's performance tonight?
Well, Dustin was okay.
When you talk about forcing the offense, do you have any sense? I mean, this team's been so consistent with how it has to play, and so it did feel a little unusual. Do you have any sense of why you guys got away from it a little bit?
Not really. I think there's a little bit of you probably feel pressure to win. I think that's one thing where guys want to do whatever they can to help the team win, and typically when you get into those situations, you just want to trust your game, and you play the 2-2 game if you have to until the last minute of the third period. So be it, because that's our style and something we'll have to remind the players about tomorrow.
You see a little frustration boil over after one of the goals between a couple of players on the bench. Does that concern you?
No, that happens every game. It does. Like, players, they argue with each other back and forth, they sort it out, and then they come to a conclusion, they move on. That's one thing I love about our team, is when it does happen, they shift gears right away. So not an issue at all for me. It happens pretty much every game.
Talked this morning a little bit about the progress with the power play and how that worked. Are you seeing it with the penalty kill?
I was until tonight. I thought we made some poor plays on the kill tonight. Yeah.
With Kevin Ball missing a few games here, do you feel like the increased minutes, whether it's for a Uyghur or Bean, is that starting to take a little bit of a toll? Would you say, are players starting to feel it a little bit?
Not for Mackenzie. He's used to playing that type of minute. Like, I think he was 24-ish or something tonight, close to 25. But a lot of those were special team minutes as well, like 5-on-3 power plays for our side. I'm pretty sure if you were to look at it, he probably had a lot of power play time. But the other guys, when I look at it, it's you want the opportunity. Everybody asks for it. I want a little bit more. I want a little bit more. I can do the job. Well, you have to make sure you do the job.
Do you feel like they are?
I didn't think our back end was great tonight. Up until this point, I think they've done a good job.
Still a work in progress to get 4 lines that you can roll out consistently, or is it a bit of special teams worked in tonight too?
There was a lot of it was special teams, but again, we were on the ice for a goal against, and I thought they were spending a little bit too much time in our own zone, and that impacted their ice time.
Braden Pahal's physicality is obviously important in this big part. Do you want him to tone it back at all? Because he is leading the team in penalty minutes at this point.
I don't want him to tone it back. I just want him like always with any of your players, you make sure that when you're hitting someone, it's on this side of the rule, like that was interference, the penalty. So you can't argue that one.
What have been your impressions of Farabee so far?
I've liked him. Like, he's got some poise with the puck. I think he's done some good things for us. And like, you see where he was tonight for should have been maybe 2 of the goals, I guess, right around the net. And that's kind of where he makes his money. That's where he goes. He's got a little bit of grease to him, which we like. And I feel like this might have been their best game as a line for us. I thought Naz and Hubie and Joel were our best players up front for us tonight, for sure. Okay, thanks, guys.
All right, some thoughts from the head coach following tonight's loss, and obviously a pretty good review from basically goals allowed, and then obviously what he saw up front and kind of in the back end. I mean, covered a lot of topics there, but I think for the coach, he put it pretty perfectly there when he said forcing offense a little bit here tonight.
Yeah, and they'll talk about it, and I'm sure, like I said, the Calgary Flames, it was a little bit out of character for them tonight. They haven't made those mistakes, so I don't think it'll take much to get the ship righted and get back after it again. And then again, as far as the penalty kill, they have been better as of late. So again, they'll look at things, see where their breakdowns were, and hopefully maybe sneak in a little practice time tomorrow and then get ready for the next one after that.
Certainly the benefit, it's been a road-heavy month for sure, and obviously we're only left with 2 games before the break hits, but both on home ice, and doesn't get much easier. You got Colorado coming in. They're playing right now in Vancouver. Vancouver's leading that game. So once again, that playoff picture, it's not like it's going to change much over the last couple of months of the season. It's going to be tight the whole way through, but it gets a little bit tighter if that score holds currently in Vancouver.
Yeah, it's going to be seesaw battle back and forth, and currently it's kind of just between 2 teams. That can always change as well. Yeah. And hey, it's fun. It's a fun place to be, and it gets you energized to come to the rink every day. And you do a little scoreboard watching when your game's done, and you root for certain teams. Maybe they're rooting for the Avs tonight. They won't be rooting for them on Thursday. That's
right, because Thursday, that is the next opponent for the Calgary Flames. It will be the Colorado Avalanche rolling in fresh off a date against the Vancouver Canucks. As for tonight, 6-3 the final. The Toronto Maple Leafs roll in and roll out with the 2 points. They've got wins in back-to-back games. The Calgary Flames, luckily for themselves, have a couple more chances before the February break hits, because coming up on Thursday night, it'll be a date against the Colorado Avalanche, their next opponents, before wrapping up this 3-game homestand and wrapping up the pre-February break schedule with a date against the Seattle Kraken. Nice little tribute, nice little salute to former Calgary Flame Chris Tanev. The offense was there at times, the power play goals were there, but unfortunately it was the Leafs that come out with the victory. 6-3 the final. Thanks for watching Flames Post Game Live, brought to you by Original 16. We'll see you on Thursday night back inside the Dome.